Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marisa Kazem and today I'm going to be setting up April in my bullet journal. So for April, I decided to do a book and plant theme. I don't know why I had a really hard time thinking of a theme for April, but I did lions for my March theme and I just wanted to do something really simple and easy for April. I say that, but this setup actually took me a very long time to do because there was a lot of outlining, a lot of lines, but at least I wasn't drawing lions, which take a lot longer. So I kept it simple in a way, but also it took a lot of time. I just wanted this theme to kind of represent what's going on in my life. So for those of you who don't know, my dad passed away in February from COVID, and obviously my life has been very shaken up and I'm trying to figure out a way to just keep on going, and that's one of the things I've loved about bullet journaling so far. It's really done that for me. But April is the month that I'm going back to school, and I thought it'd be important to have like a studious looking theme to get me in the mood. Also for this month, I decided to go simple on the quote page. My other quote pages were very full and loud, and this one was simple. And for this month, I decided to use the quote, "Stop trying to calm the storm, calm yourself, the storm will pass." And for me, that's obviously very relevant in my life. This big storm right now is the pain of losing my dad, and I can't make that go away. I can't calm that down. But one thing I can do is calm myself. So, on to the next spread. My next spread is going to be my calendar page, and this month I decided to do a 2-page calendar instead of the singular page like I've been doing for the first 3 months. I don't really know if I actually need 2 pages, but I thought the only way to know is to find out. For this bullet journaling, so obviously bullet journaling means something different to everyone. And for me, when I initially thought of starting bullet journaling back in December, I thought it'd be a great way to help me stay organized and just keep my life balanced and focused. But then my dad was in the hospital and he passed away. And so January, February, and March for me were just about expressing myself artistically in a journal. That was all bullet journaling was to me at the time, because when your dad's passing away, you're not thinking about how much water you're drinking or whether you're meditating. You know, these are not habits you're keeping track of, nor do you care if you're keeping track of those things. However, now that it's April, I know that realistically I do need to get on with my plan like I intended, which was to organize and track my life. And so I thought, let's make a bigger calendar, and you're going to see a lot of spreads in this setup, which I did not do for January, February, or March, because like I said, they weren't relevant to me. But now that I'm trying to implement good changes in my life, I'm deciding to do these things now. So for this month, for the calendar page, it's 2 pages, and I just thought I'd do a cute little book doodle at the side with some plants. And at the bottom of the page, you'll see that I left it blank, but later on I went and added my class schedule in there, but otherwise that's how I left it. Also, this is my first time trying the Archer and Olive acrylograph pens, and I have to say I really love how it looks. It's literally like paint in a pen, and it creates this gorgeous coverage over the paper, and I really like it. I'm definitely excited to use more of them in my future setups. But for the books, I decided to just use my Tombow dual brush pens. I just wanted like a wash of color over these books. And you're gonna see I used a like darker cool toned blue for like 2 books, and then I decided I didn't like it and I went with a darker green color, which I think matched the color of the acrylograph pen a lot better. So I used a white acrylograph pen to cover over the dark blue that I had done because I just didn't like how it looked. And then I went over with a Tombow dual brush pen in a darker green. And now on to the next spread. This is one of the new ones that I've done for this month. I decided to do a monthly goals page and an idea board. I don't know if I need a monthly goal page or whether realistically I need like a 3-month goal page at a time, but I thought let's just try it and see if I like having specific monthly goals. I feel like that helps you orientate your life in a way. And on the next page, I have my idea board, which basically I set up an idea board at the beginning of the journal that was meant to be for all of 2021. And the way I use it is basically like a brain dump, but I think idea board just sounds nicer. However, my idea board at the beginning of the year is almost halfway full, and I only made it 2 pages, so I thought maybe I should include an idea board every month. That way I have room to write things down, and it's also fun because then I can decorate it and it'll look all cute, because my initial idea board is almost halfway full and we're only like a quarter of the way through the year, so I know that I'm going to need more of it. I also thought that for the monthly goals, it would be really cute if I write them down on the different pages of the books. And I just think it looks more illustrative and more fun. Obviously it's not necessary, but I just thought it'd be really fun and cute to do it this way. And now onto the next spread. So something I really wanted to include this month was a positivity log. I know that a lot of people do a gratitude log, which I think is still a good idea, but for me, I don't really have a problem being grateful. I think right now my biggest problem is being positive, because when your dad dies and your whole world is turned upside down, trying to look at simple things that are just positive is quite difficult, I would say. And I just want to make sure that every single day of this month and for future months that I'm being positive and I'm having a good mindset. And I thought it would go really well next to my mood tracker, because if I'm having a really bad day, like let's say on my mood tracker I color in one of the books like with the dark color, then I can look back at my positivity log and see what did I write on that day despite my bad mood. And I think that will be a really interesting thing to keep track of and look at in the future, because right now my mood is all over the place since my dad has passed, and I think just reminding yourself of positive affirmations every day can really make a difference in your mindset. And that is one of the most important things about getting through life. You've got to have the right mindset, otherwise no matter what situation you're in, you could either have a really good time or a really bad time, but your mindset is going to change how that outcome is. So that's why I thought I'd include a positivity log. Also, how cute is this mood tracker? I loved drawing a bookshelf for my book reading page at the beginning of the year, and I really wanted an excuse to draw another bookshelf because it's so cute, and I thought a mood tracker would be so cute. Basically every day I just color in a book a different color, and that way it kind of makes sense because I feel like some mood trackers, the colors do matter in a way. Like when I did my coffee theme for January, all of the coffee beans, the colors didn't really make sense because they were like beige and browns, and coffee beans are just one shade. They're all dark brown. So for this month, I think the mood tracker makes a lot more sense because books can be any color. And now onto the next spread. This is my habit tracker. I wanted to do a habit tracker initially, but like I said, who's tracking exercise and things like that when your dad is passing away? That's not what you're thinking about. But for this month, I thought I would track 8 habits, and I made it 2 pages. I don't know necessarily if I need to track all these things, but I was thinking for a while about what should I track, what should I not track, and I just thought, why don't I just start tracking a bunch of things, and if I find some of them to not be helpful, then I just won't include them the next time. By the way, if you're loving these spreads so far, then please make sure to check out the description box. I now have an Etsy shop where I'm going to sell digital versions of my spreads. So far I only have April set up, but if any of you want any of the previous months, let me know and I will upload them to my Etsy shop. I basically made all of these spreads again in Procreate on the iPad, and I made them into a PDF, and I made it so you can just download a bunch of them. I included all of the spreads in this setup except for the monthly check-in and the monthly review that I did at the end because it was quite specific to me, so I didn't think it would be something that everyone would want to buy. But all of these spreads are available on my Etsy shop, and you can just go and download them, and you can print them off, you could use them on your iPad, you can do whatever you want with them. But yeah, if you want to use them for yourself, they're there. Or if you just like the drawings that I did, you could also just print it off and cut out the drawings and stick them in your own journals. So yeah, go and check out my Etsy shop. When doing this setup, one of the things I noticed about the acrylograph pens is that sometimes it can take a little while for it to layer. Obviously you have to wait for the first layer of paint to dry, but I noticed that the paint can sometimes get clogged up in the tip of the pen. However, that could just be my fault. I did see that in the instructions it says to wipe them after every use, but I found that when I wiped them, I would just get little fibers and hairs stuck to them. So what I decided to do was, once I was done using the pen, I would put the lid on, but I would let it dry out and then come back to it and scrape off all the thicker paint. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, but I found that that worked easier for me. So if you're struggling with the acrylograph pens, maybe try doing it that way, because I found it to be easier to get the pen to be clean so that you can use it for the next time. And on to the next spread. So my next spread is a weight tracker. Obviously you don't have to do this. This is very specific, and I know a lot of people don't like tracking their weight, but for me I do. I like to see how my weight changes when my life changes, it does make a difference because your body absorbs all kinds of stress that you go through, and it does affect your body. And in September, I started losing weight, and by Christmas, I had lost 30 pounds, and I was really happy with that. But after my dad passing, I gained back another 10 pounds because I was just emotionally eating. And now I want to try and prevent myself from doing that and track my weight again. And I just love looking at like a dotted chart, basically like I'm gonna plot my weight each day and then draw a line through it and see how it looks at the end. I think it's also good because then if my weight goes up, like say like around the middle of the month, and then I can go back and look at my mood tracker and my positivity log like a few days before my weight went up and just see what happened. What was my mindset like? And then same with my habit tracker too. I can see, was I exercising? Did I drink enough water? Like what happened? Why did my weight spike up? And I just think it goes along with everything really well. I don't think I needed a full page for it. I'm pretty sure I could have summarized this in a shorter space, but I just love how airy and nice it looks on 2 pages, and then it gives me room to draw more book doodles. And onto the next spread. So this spread is what I'm most excited about for April. This is my productivity tracker, and basically I got this inspiration from a sleep tracker. I know a lot of people do a chart where they color in how many hours they sleep throughout the day, but for me, I thought tracking my sleep on its own just wasn't useful. So I thought I would do a whole productivity tracker where for the hours of the day I'll track when I slept and when I was relaxing, when I'm studying, and when I'm being productive. And I mean, studying is productive, but there are other productive things that you do that are not necessarily studying, because studying is not the only thing I do. So I thought I would track those, and I thought it'd be very reflective to look back on, because I can see if I went to bed late and if I got no sleep, how much did it affect my day compared to other days when I sleep well. And again, I can also look back, like if I had a really bad day where I didn't get anything done and I slept too much, I can then look at my habit tracker and see, like, did I eat well that day? Did I have enough water? What happened? So this is not a way to punish myself and be like, you weren't productive today, but it's a good way for me to just check in what's going on and see what happens. And it also means I get to use more of my Tombow dual brush pens because I get to color them in every day. So I thought it'd just be fun to include, but also a very useful spread at the same time. So for my next spread, this is my week 1 setup, and I went a little extra and a little bit crazy for this spread. I drew another bookshelf, and I was wondering, how am I going to be able to fit in like my different tasks throughout the day? And I basically drew picture frames. I know that doesn't really make sense, but people put picture frames on a shelf, and basically each shelf is labeled Monday through Sunday. This is very extra, and I don't know if I'm going to keep up with this for week 2. I might make it a lot simpler, or I might just go extra again because drawing is fun. But if you don't like this weekly spread, definitely check out my Etsy shop, because for my Etsy shop, I made another weekly spread that is a lot simpler with a lot more room to write things down, and it also has an event section, but it still has a few little book drawings, and it's really cute. So if you want to see that version, definitely have a look at my Etsy shop, because it's probably more useful than this spread. However, for me, I like writing small when I'm planning out my day, and I don't need a lot of room. So I thought I would try it like this for now. Obviously, if these boxes do feel too small, then I'll definitely change it up for week 2. But for now, this is how I did it, and I just love how it looks. It's so cute, and I was kind of getting tired of drawing piles of books. Like you can see, I drew 1 pile of books, but it can take a bit more time than you think, because you have to get the angles right on the books to make it look like they're stacked on top of each other. But a bookshelf is much easier. You just draw the long rectangles and you're done. But yeah, definitely check out my Etsy one if you want to see a simpler version. Also, in my previous weekly setups for my previous months, I included a next week box where I would basically just write down things that are going to happen next week since I don't have the next weekly set up yet. But I noticed I wasn't really using it that much. I can definitely put those things in my calendar. So I thought I would use the extra space on the page for more drawings and for a notes and tasks section. That way, for the whole week, I can write down the general tasks that I have to get done. And then in the boxes, I can plan out which days I'm going to do those tasks. Because I noticed with my previous setups, like let's say I needed to go return something at a shop, I would write it down every day thinking I'm going to do it every day, and then it would never happen. But if I just put it in the task box at the side, then I can know for the week, okay, I have to get that done this week, and then I'll eventually figure out which day it will be, you know? So I just found that to be easier. So onto the last spread of this setup, which is my monthly check-in and my monthly review. I did this for March and I absolutely loved it. I loved checking in twice a month for my monthly check-in, and my monthly review is what I do at the end. So for the monthly check-in, in the middle of the month and the end of the month, which is basically every 2 weeks, I will check in how I am emotionally, physically, and how my weight management is going. Like I said, that's something I just like to track and I like to be aware of. And then for the monthly review, it's basically different questions that I ask myself, and over time they may change. But for now, I have 4 questions on this page. The first one is things I accomplished, things I need to improve on, and then the last 2 are how I feel about grief and what would my dad say to me. I know the first 2 aren't really questions, but I think of them as questions. And the last 2 questions are definitely very important to me. In terms of grief, this is my first real experience with grief. Well, it's actually my second, because in July, my granddad passed away, and he has been living with me since I was 5 years old. He was like a second father to me, and I lost him in July, and then I just lost my dad 7 months later. So basically this whole year, grief has just been very present in my life and very new. And I do want to check in and just ask myself, how do you feel about grief now? Because I've been reading a lot about grief, and from what I've noticed, grief is going to be with you forever. It's never just going to go away. So I definitely want to check in and see how I feel. And then same with the last question, what would my dad say to me? He was like my best friend, and now he's gone. And I'd like to think of what would he say to me each month, and how he would encourage me to keep going. And it's also a way to just remind myself of my dad a bit more. Not that I need to, I mean, I do think about him every day, but it's just nice to have a little section where I can actually write down what would my dad say to me. It kind of makes me feel like I'm talking to him, you know? So obviously this is very specific to me, which is why I didn't include this setup in my Etsy shop. Although if anyone wants it, I'll go ahead and create it. But I just didn't think this would apply to anyone. But anyway, I hope you guys are liking all these spreads so far. Let me know in the comments which is your favorite spread. Mine is definitely the positivity and mood tracker. I just love the aesthetic and I love the bookshelf. It's definitely my favorite spread. But let me know which is yours. spread done and it's time for the final flip through. I love how this setup turned out. It's definitely very calming for me and very representative of what's going on in my life at the moment. I need to focus on studying and just getting on with my life, and I wanted something that was calming and soothing. That's also why I chose this acrylograph pen. I just love the color of that blue, and blue is a very calming color. There are definitely more vibrant colors out there, but this one was just very relaxing to me. And this one's my favorite spread. Definitely so excited to use this. Positivity log and mood tracker, my absolute favorite. Yes, anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments which was your favorite spread, and go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I am definitely going to be uploading a week 2 setup for this month, and I'm probably going to do week 3 and week 4 as well. And then I'm very excited about May. Right now I'm thinking purple. I think purple will be a really cute color for May, but I have to see, I might change my mind. But if you're curious to see what I do, then definitely subscribe and like this video for more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.